All right. So I'm going to start with today's class. All right. It's weird that you're not here yet. I'm going to verify that everything is working good. But anyway, I have to start and I'm going to continue with today's class. Just in case, I'm going to take a look at the group. And again, I sent a message via Google Classroom, but it's about the 27th, right? October the 27th. That's in 10 days. So in 10 days, again, I'm going to, make you know, right, about an event that I'm going to have. And we are going to change the day in which we are not going to have that conversation. And the day we're going to replace that one. Okay. So you're going to have a day off, like a holiday, but perhaps it can be in a different day because of the event that I'm telling you. But again, it's important that this can work for you or that we can find different solutions for, any of you according to the case and according to the difficulties that you might have. Again, I'm taking a look at the group to see if something happened or or just because you're going to join in some minutes, because again, it's weird that you're not here. But let me just start then the class. Okay, so let's start anyway. Perhaps you're going to join later on. I'm going to start with Pearson. As always, I think that almost all of you, right, were able to finish your assignments. And I always assign this the first day of classes. So it means that I always do it right on Monday if that's the beginning of the class, or again, when the beginning of the class took place. So as we have to start with the next unit, right now I'm going to assign the second unit for all of you, plus the second quiz. All right, so it means that everything is going to be ready for you to to continue working on your assignments and to continue also with the, let's say, quiz. So this is the second unit. I'm assigning everything. Remember, it's the usual. You're going to have until Friday, 11:59 p.m. to finish these assignments. All right, so it's Friday the 21st, 11:59 p.m. and two attempts as always, plus the model over there. Okay, so that's it in terms of the assignments. Now I'm also going to assign the quiz, but you know that it's going to be available starting, sorry, not the entire one. This one starting Friday, the second quiz, if you feel ready, or you have until Sunday to complete that one. Okay, so start date, that's going to be Friday, and let's say it's going to be 9:25. That's more or less the time we finish the class. Until Sunday, 11:59, once again. All right, 15 minutes as always, and there you go. Okay, so everything is done in terms of Pearson. If you have any questions or if you had any problems, again, you're going to let me know. But I think that everything went okay according to that, what I was saying. But you know that you can let me know in case something happens. All right, so that's it with Pearson. I'm going to go now to the first lesson for this new unit, and we're going to start with the conversation. Hey, Lucy, I think you have a question. Let me know if you have any questions, please.
Yeah, Professor. I had a question with Pearson. I don't know. With I check my assignments, and I see, for example, in the column of the grades from the exam, the second column, not the first one, it's about the tests, right?
That's correct. Only for test for quizzes, the second call.
And this is like it's something that is going to increase because you are going to we're going to find like the average or something like that, or
Yes. Here you only see like exactly as you're saying, you have like the sum up of the four quizzes, I mean, not 4 quizzes, the 3 quizzes plus the final exam, everything is going to be summarized here, right? And you're going to see the average of those 4 scores, okay? The average. But you can also take a look at the individual scores here. Yeah, tell me, Lucia.
No, continue, teacher. After maybe with your explanation, I'm going to understand better.
All right. So yes, here only if you enter to Gradebook, you see the overall score, right? This is the average score from all the assignments that you were assigned, from all the units, right? Also here, now you have 1 of 2 because I already assigned quiz number 2, right? So here you have the average of every unit. If you want to see individual averages, I mean, or just the individual score that you have per quiz or per assignment, or sorry, per unit, you go to here, right, Model B, B1, and this is only going to show you the scores for Unit 1. You go to B2, and this is only going to show you the scores for B2. Now, this always shows you the best and the last attempt, actually, not the best, the last attempt. So it means if you had a technical error or something happened, this is only going to show me the last time I assigned that for you, all right? And it has the option to show you the first attempt. It means if you were assigned this twice, you can see the first attempt and the second attempt, all right? You can see the average score that is going to show you like again, the average of everything that you have here, that this is the usual, and you have the highest score. But again, the one that it's always taken into account here, Lucia, is the last attempt. Okay, so the last attempt that you took, that is usually the one that you have at the end, that's the score that it's evaluated. And the thing that I do, okay, just to finish, and you let me know any other questions, the thing that I do for the final scores is that I copy this information, but unit per unit, right? I don't copy the average that you see here in Model B, this average, right? I don't copy that. I copy the information unit per unit, right? The average for Unit 1, the average for Unit 2, the assignments, plus the test, because remember that this is going to be 30% of your final score. The quizzes, only the quizzes are going to be 30% also of your final score. And the final exam, that is one that is here, Model B tests, and it appears over here, this is going to be 40%. Okay, so whatever score you have here in Model B tests as the last attempt, this is going to be turned into 30%, sorry, 40% of your final score. Okay, so that's how it works, Lucia. But I don't know if you have any other questions or something you want to know about it.
Yeah, I don't know. On weekend maybe. I can understand why in my according to me and according that I check because when you're doing the assignments, appears that you just missing 1 or you just missing 0 or you just missing, you have like a counter, right? When we are doing the activities. And I remember that on Saturday, that it was the day of the deadline, I already finished all the assignments, but when I see the charts of the gradebook, I see that, for example, one assignment is missing. And the other thing, I don't know if because my internet is bad or something, and the same happened yesterday with the exam. I took the last exam at night yesterday, and appears like 68 or something like that, and my grade was 85 or something like that, and it was like I couldn't understand that grade book. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually very weird. It doesn't happen, and it shouldn't happen in that way. Actually,
yeah,
with the test,
the before models doesn't happen like that for me, but I don't know. But
yeah,
now
because
I see that in your charts, yeah, appears of course the grade, but I don't know. I'm the
yes,
student, yeah, but also appeared 39, and I remember that are 40 activities, but I don't know.
yes. Also, it's weird. Actually, this one is pretty weird. I don't know if it was a mistake. Perhaps the servers were updating, or I don't know what happened. But here I have these scores. Okay, these are the final scores I have here, and this is what I'm going to use for your final document. All right, it's pretty weird. Actually, the one that related to the score, I think it's the first time that someone tells me that it's happening, and it's good that you let me know, because sometimes we can have these mistakes. In case that happens, please, a good idea, Lucia, Karen, and Nazarena, always try to take screenshots just in case. Okay, when you finish your final exams or your quizzes, just take a screenshot. Okay, so whatever happens, and you know, technology also makes mistakes, you can show me and you can show management that score that you have. And again, that can be considered, and we can, of course, change the score if something happened. All right. Now, regarding this, yes, it happened. Actually, this is a common problem. I don't know actually what is the best way to solve it. My only advice is to check every time gradebook. And what you can do is go here, go to the unit, for example, now to try to understand what is this activity that it's missing over here, 39. You have to go this one by one, but it's not going to take a long. Look, I'm going to do it now very quickly. So we go to resources, 2 out of 2. We go to this part, 6 out of 6. So we're good so far. Vocabulary, 2 out of 2. Good so far. Speaking, you have 4 out of 4. Good, great. No problem so far. This one. Here, look, in grammar, it seems that one is missing. Now, if you want to verify which one is missing, you can go here one by one again. So here, actually, this is not presented, right? So just to see this one seems to be the one that was not presented, and it's a yes. So grammar may have get, let, and help. Now, if you spot that one, that's something, as you can see, you can do that in 1 minute. If you spot the one that you're missing, just in case you're doing that, let's say for this unit, girls, you go then, remember, the name was grammar, and may have, get, let, help 1. Now, if you don't find that here in assignments, Lucia, another option that you have is that you can go to course and you can look for that exercise. And if it was assigned for me, it's going to be counted as an assignment, okay? And it's going to be graded. So you go to unit 1, it was grammar, so you go to grammar and you look for that name. It was this one, okay? So you open that one, and again, if I assigned that for you, it's going to count as if you are completing the assignment. Again, sometimes we have some problems here because, yes, as you're saying, it's supposed to show you the ones that you completed and that you didn't complete. But if you get to see here, hey, Lucia, that one is missing, try to look for that one, okay, one by one. It's going to be very fast. And once you identify that one, go to course, look for that exercise, and complete the exercise here in course, okay? Only if you cannot find that exercise here in assignment. For me, that's the way that you can follow, the way in which you can solve that problem, because it happened a lot, Lucia. But I don't know if you have any other questions besides that one. That will be my piece of advice here.
Yeah, just for finish. Yeah, and I have the last question is for the end of for the exams, for example, if I didn't take the exam, and it's normal that appear with a score the second column, because it's something that appears to me, and I was like, but I didn't take the exam.
Here, yes. Over here, if you took one quiz, you didn't take the second quiz?
I didn't take any, yeah.
No, you shouldn't have any score over here. Unless you have a course. Sometimes some accounts are registered in different courses, Lucia. I don't know if that's the case of your account. For example, here as a teacher, look, I have access to many courses, so I can see the scores of many people, all right, from many different courses that ended or that's still going on there. Now, I don't know if you as a student in your account, you have access to other courses. If you have access to other courses and those other courses are active, perhaps sometimes by mistake, you can take a look at the score of another course that is not our course, okay? I don't know if perhaps that happened by mistake. If that's the case, then the only thing you should do is to take a look at this name. it's always going to be, right, the name of the course plus the specific date plus my name. That's the only possibility I'm thinking of, Lucia. Why? Because in case you didn't take any of these quizzes or any quiz, you shouldn't have any score over here. Your score should be only 0. Now, something that happened, and just to finish, also is to sometimes, but I think that you notice that when some students take this quiz without noticing that it's the quiz, they thought that it was an assignment, because in the assignments, everything is mixed up, right? And they thought, and they say, I didn't realize that I took the quiz already. I thought that I was only completing the assignments, but actually I had already completed the quiz, and they have the score. But again, I know that you identified that one, but just in case, it can also happen. But if not, again, it shouldn't be there, Lucia. If you didn't take any quiz, there shouldn't be any score over there. And actually, there's going to be one score, that it's going to be 0. Okay, that's the only thing that should appear in case you didn't take it. All
Yeah,
right.
appears that 63 that I never find that. It's not familiar for me, but I'm gonna check again. Maybe the now is uploading or something. Refresh.
Good. Yes, do it just in
Uh,
case. It can be that it was in maintenance. Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Good.
yeah, if I have more questions tomorrow, I'm gonna ask you. But thank you, Professor.
Very good. No, you're welcome, and thanks for letting me know that, Lucia. And again, if this is useful for all of you girls, it can happen to you, and you can take that into account. All right. Always, again, my advice: take screenshots at least of the quizzes that you take. Be sure that you're checking Gradebook every time. Okay. If you only finish the assignments and you close Pearson, it's good, but be sure that you completed everything by going to Gradebook and by being sure that you in fact took the quiz, that you in fact completed all the assignments. Because if you wait until after the due date, I cannot do anything. I can reassign that, but again, it's difficult to do something about it. Okay, just that one. I don't know if you have any other questions before going to the lesson, girls.
Teacher, I have a question, but it's about the exam. I don't
Yes.
know what, well, when we finish, in my case, I can, well, in this exam, I made some mistakes, but I couldn't see the correct answer. I don't know if we need to tell you something, or we can review, like, for example, the assignments when we use our tool attempt, then we can see the correct answer. But with
Actually,
I don't know if we can do that.
yes, you should be able to see that one. Yes, I remember that you also mentioned that one before, Karen, and it should be there for you. I don't know why it's not possible. I don't know if you can try doing the following. No, actually, it's not going to work in that way. But here in the assignments, if you go to the course, you as a student, if you select here, I think you have a filter, Karen. And in the filter, I believe that you can select, here I don't see that because I'm in my account as a teacher. But if you select the completed assignments, you should be able to see the assignments that you already completed, plus the quizzes that you already took. Okay, it should be there. I don't know if they made a change because it's weird. It was there. But once you select that one, you should be able to see like a report of what you did. All right, a report of everything that you did. And let me just try to identify that one. A report of everything that you did. For example, here, again, in my account, I see this one, okay? See report. It's not completed, but once you complete that one, I can see the scores, I can see the mistakes that you had, I can see everything, like this one that I'm going to show you here. Okay, this is, for example, to mark the speaking part. And here I have access to the recordings that you got, to your answers and everything. All right, and once again, you should be able to have access to that. But in case you don't have access to that, Karen, because of, I don't know, again, but perhaps they worked on some changes, you can let me know and we can work on a review either in class or in the private conversations. And what I can do, for example, for the first exam, just to finish again this one, is that I can show you that one plus the correct answers. For example, this is the first activity, this is the first quiz, and here I have the quiz plus all the answers, all right, all the correct answers. So again, if you are not able to find that one, perhaps they change it, I don't know why, you let me know and you can review the quiz with me, all right, just in case that you don't have access to the quiz that you should have. So again, try to take a look, perhaps today, try to explore a little bit in the filter, try to find the completed assignments and quizzes. If you don't find that one, let me know, and anytime you want to check or review your quiz, we are going to do it in class or in the conversations, all right? Okay, good.
Thank you, teacher.
Great, no, you're welcome.
The same issue, teacher.
Okay, yes, so let's do the same.
Yeah.
Let's do the same. Explore in the filter. If you get to find the completed assignments and quizzes, try to explore a little bit. If you don't find anything, again, let me know anytime you want to review at least the quizzes. I think that's the most important part. Also the assignments, but mainly the quizzes. And we can have the first 10 minutes or so. It's going to be less than that, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to review the quiz, to show you the correct answers. You let me know if you have any questions and we go to the lesson. All right? Let's do it in that way, please, girls.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, good. No, you're welcome. So let's go now to our topic. And again, here you are going to be able to see all the correct answers. And again, the idea of Pearson is that you have access to that element. I'm going to check. I'm going to, all right, ask for a student's account. So I'm going to explore all the changes that there have been, so I can let you know where you have to go to check that detail. But let's go then to, again, one activity. And this, again, mainly here, as we are reviewing everything, we are going to have like these practices for writing or for speaking. We're going to start with a speaking exercise. It's going to be kind of interesting because you are going to ask a lot of questions to one of your partners. All right, the more questions you can ask, the better. I'm going to be listening, I'm going to be taking notes, but I want you to again, be active, asking questions, and the other person should be able to answer to those questions, okay, in a fluent way and without any problems. As you can see here, we are starting again with past continuous, and simple past, but let's start this one again with this activity. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to be taking notes one more time, and I'm going to be using the timer. So this is what we're going to do, girls. Over there ready, I'm just going to share the timer, and I'm going to give you, all right, each of you, like from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. And it's not going to be a conversation in this case, all right? It's going to be more like an interview. For example, we're going to start with you, Karen, and Lucia is going to answer the questions. It means that during 3 or 4 minutes, Karen, you're going to ask Lucia about her past, okay? Everything about her past. It can be her childhood, it can be high school, it can be college or university, it can be anything related to the past, okay? The pandemic, anything that comes to your mind. You ask the question, Lucia answers the question, all right? But remember, this time it's not going to be like a conversation, it's going to be like an interview. So as soon as Lucia finishes answering the question, you go with the next question, Karen, and you can extend that information if you want. All right, so again, the idea is that you can ask the questions and that Lucia is able to answer that. Then we're going to go with Lucia asking to Nazarena. But let's first work with you, please, Karen and Lucia. Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. Again, your roles first is, Karen, you ask as many questions as you can about Lucia's past. And Lucia, you're only going to answer to those questions, and then Karen continues. So any questions? Let me know, please, so that we can start.
No, teacher.
Okay, good. So I'm just going to share the timer so that we don't get confused by the notes I am going to take. And I'm going to start, okay? Let's have it 4 minutes directly. And I believe that you're ready. Let's start, please, Karen and Lucia. And Karen, actually, you asking the questions. Let's do it, please.
Okay. How was your childhood, Lucia?
My childhood was amazing. Yeah, because I share many moments with my family and with my friends.
Okay. What things did you like to do when you was a young girl?
I really love to go to parties, to go out with my friends, yeah, I think so, and also to travel.
Okay. Okay. When you was a child, maybe you had I don't know, a crazy dream. Like I wanna be, I don't know, a superstar or something like that. You had some dreams like that?
Yeah, for example, at the school, I remember I want to be a philosopher. Yeah, it was my first idea to study in at university, but yeah, I realized that nowadays it's a profession. It's not affordable, doable, and yeah, so maybe in the future I'm going to study that, but just to complement, because law and philosophy have many things for connection.
Oh, interesting. So, what do you in this time? What did you think that you wanna be a psycho? No. What did you say? The word? I forget.
Philosopher?
Yes. What did
No.
you? I don't know. What did you choose at the beginning? This option.
Because I really love to question things, to request. Yeah, I really love to make me questions constantly, and I really. I start, for example, reading philosophic poetry, and it was something that I really love, like a passion or like a hobby, and yeah, and at the school I really love my philosophy classes. Also was amazing. It was my favorite subject.
Oh yeah, so you must read a lot, I think, if you like those type of no, this type of career, maybe. I think no, because you need to read.
Yeah, maybe it's an stereotype, law or philosophy. Yeah, but you, of course, you need to read, but also you need to analyze things and like give a new interpretation. I don't know if it's a proper word, but yeah, to analyze new things and yeah.
Okay.
Very good. So after that part, we have the 4 minutes so that we can use everything properly. Thank you very much, Karen and Lucia. Now I'm going to give you a short feedback before we can go with you, Lucia, asking questions to Nazarena. So let me show you those elements that I was taking notes on. So in general, I think it was good. Just be careful with these details. For example, when you are mentioning the words in past, right, remember to put a little bit more emphasis in the D. Okay, just a little bit more emphasis, right? Shared or loved, right? Liked, wanted. Also, you were using wanna. Sometimes it was good because you were giving, both of you, all right? You were giving like present ideas with want to, right? But in a couple of cases, you were using wanna in past, and that's going to be incorrect, right? Because in past, we cannot use wanna. You have to use wanted, right? Wanted. Just that one. Remember the conjugation, right? You were, right? When you were a young girl, when you were a child, right? Also, this one, it's not incorrect because you can ask questions in the form of statements, right? So you had some drinks like that. It's good, but if you ask questions in the form of statements, it's more like looking for verification, not like a real question, right? And in this setting, in the setting of interviewing, it's better if you have a question order, right? Did you have some dreams like that or any dream like that? Right? So did you? It's better. Then this one, right? I want to be, but it was a past explanation. So I wanted to be, right? I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that because of this and because of that, right? What did you choose at the beginning? This one, right? It's only a recommendation of order. It can be first always the object, right? It's going to be clearer. So what did you choose to study that career at the beginning? Right? So here you set the object and then the time expression. Then I think I listened to this expression. It was either make or ask. All right. But remember, if you're going to talk about yourself, it's better if you use that reflexive pronoun. Instead of making I make me questions or making me questions, it's better if you say I ask questions to myself, right? Or I love asking questions to myself or wondering about what's happening. Okay, so myself, and that's located at the end as an object. And this one again, right? The D in love, right? I really loved to do this. I really loved to do that. So just a little bit more stress in that D. Okay, so that's my general feedback. I don't know if you have any questions before going to the next part, girls. All right.
Professor, just for the Professor, just for the I want to be.
Yes.
I wanted to be, right?
I wanted to be, exactly. Just because it's past. As it's past, it cannot be wanna, so I wanted to be, correct.
And teacher, I have another question. I know that when we use a question inside another question, we the second question we need to change the position of the object, right? But I did a question that has another question, but I don't know if the not the context, the structure was okay. I think that is when you was a younger. What I don't remember exactly, but I remember that I did this question inside another question, and I don't know if I did it okay.
Okay, good. Perhaps was this one. I'm not sure. I was analyzing that one. Yes, you're right. What you're explaining is correct. I was not able to spot that one, Karen. Perhaps you did it correctly, and that's why I didn't take it as a mistake over here. All right, and I just listened to that, and I said it was okay. But I was not able to identify a mistake in that case, unless this was the one. If this was the question that was inside another question, perhaps it was not that clear what the first part of the question was. Okay, and that's why I'm taking this as a mistake, because yes, in case this was part of an embedded question, it would be correct to have it in this way, right? And you can say, for example, something like this. I don't know if you could tell me, right? I don't know if you can tell me if you had some dreams like that, right? So in that case, it will be correct because it's inside another question. So perhaps the first question was not that clear, or there was a big pause. So I felt that this was a different question. That's why I note that as a mistake. Or if not, I didn't notice that one, Karen, and it was correct. Okay, one of those two things happened. But again, the recommendation, just to be sure, is that it has to be clear that the first question is connected to the next one, and they're like, it's a good idea that you don't have a big pause between those two ideas so that you feel that both are connected. Just that one. If you did it in that way, it's correct. If it was this one, then I felt that the ideas were separated. Okay, just that one.
Okay,
All right.
can you do?
Good, very good. Again, and if I listen to other details like that, I'm also going to let you know. So let's go, please, now to you. I'm going to stop sharing this one once again. I'm sharing my timer. Now, please, Lucia, you are going to ask questions to Nazarena. Hey, Nazarena, let me know, please, if you are there and if you're ready to answer to the questions.
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Perfect. Just answer to the questions, all right? In this case, it's not going to be a conversation, so you answer to the question and you wait until Lucia asks the next one.
Perfect.
All right? Good. So let's start now, please.
Okay. So hi, Nazarena. Can you introduce yourself like in a short seconds?
Okay. Hi, my name is Nazarena. I am 24 years old. I am from Tarija, Bolivia, but I live in Cochabamba. I studied business administration. I love sales. I worked some like 2 years in the sales area. Well, this is something little of me.
Okay, nice. Which is the thing that appreciate you more in life?
What kind of personality?
Yeah,
something
it
that
could be
I
personality or something that you feel passionate about. How you feel passionate about something, about an experience or about an, I don't know.
I think that I'm passionate to know new places. Also new people, interesting people to talk, and yes, I think that only that.
And nowadays, I remember the last model you were living in DC, in Washington DC, right? Or not now?
Yeah, yes, I'm here yet until December.
And what are you doing there?
Now I'm studying English here. Yes, like doing some courses of my career, but well, I will come back soon.
And how was the culture? How was the people? How is the people? How is the culture? Yeah.
Well, it's very different. The people here is very focused in her things. It's not like Latin people that is very nice, welcoming and all about that. But it's nice. There are a lot of people very interesting. DC is very interesting because it's a place where there are many people who study a lot because they have a lot of good universities. So here is a very educated state. So many people is working in government or working in good good places of government. So it's very interesting. A lot of lower.
And about the accommodation.
Sorry.
Yeah. And about the accommodation, how can you solve about that?
About what? Sorry.
The accommodation, for example, where do you live now in the student
I'm living
hostel
with
or in an apartment?
Yeah, it's aunt. Is is the sister of my mom. So I'm living here with my family. So it's fine.
It's nice
Yeah.
that you meet with your family there.
Yeah, I have a cousin, so
I
that
think
is
it's
nice.
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, great. So over there, it was very good. Again, let me just share the screen one more time to give you the feedback and my camera. All right, I think it was really interesting. All right, it was an interesting approach also, Lucia, and how it, let's say, felt that it was flowing. It felt really good and good. All right, really interesting again. And actually, that's going to be one of the words. Interesting. All right, good. Now, feedback's only here. The pronunciation of these two words is going to be very similar, but it was like you were selling like this, right? Sales. So this is sales, sales, and this is sales, right? Sales. But this is incorrect,
Okay.
right? Sales is like the conjugation in third person of to sell, right? When you sell objects. But when you talk about sales, right, you're talking about the activity, right, of selling objects. And you were talking about that activity, right? So it's going to be selling or sales. Just that word. Then what is something that, instead of that expression, it's better if you ask, what are you passionate about? Right? What are you passionate about? So I'm passionate about this or that. All right. So what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about this activity or that activity. Then about being in DC, right? It was great. But if you say yet, yet is negative in this case. Yet can be positive if it's used at the beginning, but with certain characteristics. If not, I believe that in your case, it was better to say, I'm still here. All right, I'm still here. Instead of yet, let's use still in this case. Then just the ed and the c in this word, that's going to be focused. All right, focused. Here, this is going to be more like the order. Remember that this is an adverb and this is a word that it's describing a lot of people. So if you say there are a lot of people very interesting, that's too Spanish. The natural way of saying this in English is there are a lot of very interesting people. Okay, so very interesting has to be before people. Okay, again, if you say this, it's going to be understandable, but it's not going to be natural. All right, so a lot of very interesting people. Then a very educated state, but educate in this case is not a verb, it's an adjective, so it's going to be a very educated, right? Educated, so you have to use the ed or the d, but it has to be more noticeable. A very educated state. I was writing down a question, but then I got lost in some other details, and just this word, okay? Remember that instead of interesting, it's not going to be good, it has to be interesting, right? So not interesting, it has to be interesting, okay? Like comfortable, comfortable, interesting, all right? The stress is going to be like in the first part. Just that one, that's in general, girls on your side. I don't know if you have any questions about these corrections or these elements before going to the next part, because in the next part, in Nazarena, you're going to ask questions to Karen, all right? But do you have any questions before going to that last practice? Let me know, please.
Thank you so much, teacher. It's fine.
Great. No, you're welcome, Nazarena. Good.
Sorry.
Lucia, yes.
Wait, microphone. It's when we talk about sales, yeah, I understand that, but also sales could be, for example, when the shops are in discounts, right?
Yes. When you have actually, if it says that it's in sale, it means that it's being sold. But you can have right in sale, and they can mention the discount, right? So to be something or to be in sale is not directly that it's with a discount, but they use that word next to discount, okay? But it's not directly the meaning of discounting. All right, but yes, you can find that word next to that. So it's correct. Good. Great. So there you go. That's it then. Let's go to the last part. Now, please, let me first do it. Let's share the timer only. Good. And let's start now, please. Again, now you, Nazarena, ask. Again, the idea is that you can ask questions about past. You can go straight to the point and perhaps ask any questions about past, as Karen was doing, or you can look for a different approach, as Lucia did, to go to past questions. All right. But again, the idea is that the more questions in past you ask, the better, because that's where we're going to try to analyze. So let's start, please, Nazarena, and Karen, you're going to answer.
Okay, teacher. Hi, Karen. What did you study or where are you studying?
Okay, I studied production engineer. Yes, I studied that.
Did you like what was the more difficult thing that you have studied?
Uh,
You had
okay.
studied?
I liked my career, and also until now I like the most difficult. I forget the name. The most difficult schedule. No, I can remember how to say the well, but it was thermodynamica, maybe. I don't know how to say that in English. Units process. And with this, I had four courses, and it was so difficult because many students well had a bad notes, so only a few could approve the course.
Oh wow, yeah, sounds very difficult also.
It was
Yes. How many years did you study?
4.5 years. Well, I think 5 with the pandemic, because I was making my thesis.
Mhm.
And yes, I think 4 or 5. I didn't remember.
Oh, did you finish your thesis? Is like
Yes,
are you graduated?
yes. I'm
Oh,
now I am an
congrats.
engineer. Yes.
Congrats. Very difficult your career. Um, and do you want to, what is the area that do you like more?
Well, now I'm working with my parents. They have a company, and I'm helping them. So it's something related to administration. When I was working with them, I think that the part of the administration is
Yes.
interesting, because with my career I couldn't see more deep this part, because in my career I saw some administration, but it's only in the like say not deeper. But with my work now, I see that it's something, well, that I also like. So well, I like this part.
Nice. Good.
Good. Great. It's going to be until that part, girls. Thank you very much. Now, again, let me give you the last feedback. And with that, we go to review, because again, it's going to be reviewing one more time now that you know actually that lesson. All right. So let me share again everything. So Again, just one more time. Sometimes the ed, right, it's going to be pronounced differently. Remember, in this case, you change the I to Y, but the pronunciation will be studied, right? Only it, studied. If you make the E more noticeable, it's going to sound weird, okay? Only studied. Then remember, if you say engineer, that's for a person. But if you're talking about a career, right, it has to be with ing, right? Production engineering, right? So with ing at the end. Then did you like? That question is incomplete because when you mention like, you always need an object. Okay, so at least you need to say, okay, did you like it? It's talking about the career or the major. Okay, but again, if you only say did you like, it's always going to sound weird and incomplete. All right, even though it's clear, even though everybody knows what you're talking about, you should say an object. All right. Then what was the most difficult thing, right, that you have and you were not sure? So I'm just going to reinforce that one. You were doing right. Here you need to conjugate this in the past participle, right? So what was the most difficult thing that you have studied? You can ask that one. Or the word that you were not finding is subject, right?
Yeah.
So you can say in the question, it can be, what was the most difficult subject, right, that you had to pass? And you can say, and one thing that you can do there, Karen, and I think you did it, but you can skip that one, just saying one instead of that one. Okay, so you can say the most difficult one was, and directly that. Okay, just in case you don't remember, you can use one, or you can directly say it. It was, and go directly to the point, right? Just if you don't remember the word, it's always a good idea to look for options, because if you try to remember a word and you don't remember it, sometimes some people are going to stop there and they're going to pause. I think you didn't do it. You did it great because you look for a way to continue. But in order not to have that to affect your score, imagine you're taking a test. In order not to have that pause, always try to look for alternatives in case you don't remember a word. Okay, so it was subject, and this is going to be like thermodynamics, all right, or dynamics sometimes, but dynamics is going to work great. Then remember, this one was good, but this U is going to be instead of U, like EU, so students, right, students. Then note is not related to score or grade. Sometimes it is, but notes is when you take notes, right? The best word is going to be score or grade. Okay, score or grade. Okay, so a bad score or a bad grade. That's going to be better. At least that's what most of the places use. And then I was making, it's good, okay, to make a thesis actually is good instead of do make is good. But in the process of doing that, is better if you use a verb like writing. Okay, so I was writing my thesis. I was working on my thesis during the pandemic, and that's why I write it extended and I got to finish in 5 years. Okay, just that. That's in general, girls. I don't know if you have any questions before going to the review, some extra exercises, examples, and with that we finish in the time that we have left. So what do you say? Any final questions about this activity? All right, let's go then to the last one, and actually to the lesson itself, so that we can review that together. It's past, you know about past. Okay, I'm eliminating that one. I'm keeping this one with you. This is very simple because if I'm not wrong, we already covered this one, perhaps not only once, but twice with you girls. And this is the third time. Perhaps this is the last time you're going to see this with this combination, past continuous and simple past. But I want to know what you remember. So I'm going to go with you, please, first, Karen. What do you remember about the difference? Okay, that's the most important part. The difference between the past continuous and the simple past. When it's a good idea to use the simple past, and when is it a good idea to use the past continuous or the simple past? What do you say?
Well, when we use past continuous and simple past with the when, the first action is past continuous in the past, obviously. Then the second action is the simple past. For example, I was taking a shower. It was my first action when I don't know, the phone rang, and this is the second action. But the first action is the past continuous, and then when the first action is still in the past, the simple past action or the second action, well, pass at that moment, but the other is still happening.
Good. Thank you very much, Karen. Great. I think that was a great way of explaining this one. Yes. When you use the two of them, the past continuous is always the first action, right? I was doing something when something happened after that. So that's great. Also, what you mentioned, that the past continuous can continue after this interruption, right? But the simple past is something that happened at that moment, and that's it, right? That's why we call it a definite or specific time. So that's also great, and it was very well explained, Karen. Good, good. So I think that's a great introduction. Only one more detail, and for that detail, I'm going to go with you, Lucia. You know that we can use any of these tenses for any story that we're talking about or we're telling in past, right? So if I have this idea, Lucia, and you're going to tell me when it's a good idea to use which one. If I can say, I went to a party, okay, I went to a party and I was going to a party. So those two are past. But when is it a good idea to say I went to the party? And when is it a good idea to say I was going to the party? What makes me decide which one is the best option?
I think teacher is according the context per se also, but for example, I went to a party is something that, like Karen says, that already finished, and it's like a past action in the past. But for example, I was going to a party. It could be different because, I mean, while you was going, you find a coin, for example, and you have the interruption. And in that case, for me, in that cases or past continuous and simple past, you have to pay attention to the context. And if there is an interruption sentence, you can find and decide.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lucia. Good, good. Also, I believe that what you said already, it's very well explained. And yes, it depends on the context. If you only want to mention a sequence of actions, talk about the simple past and use the simple past, right? I did this, then I did that, and I finally did this, right? But as you're saying, actually, if you have an action that was happening and you want to mention interruptions in between that action, right? You can use the past continuous as the context of that idea and the simple past as events that happened in between that big event that is happening or that it was happening in the past, right? And as you said very well, the context is very important. Good. So to me, that's it. Let's review this now by reading some of the elements. You already have that one. We're going to skip that one, plus this explanation. You have read it before. So let's go just to the definition to be sure about this. And this is for you, please, Nazarena. Let's read the definition.
Okay, definition. Use the past continuous to describe an ongoing action that was happening during a specific time in the past. The action started before the time that was mentioned and will be finished after some time.
Great, thank you very much. And again, right, it's usually used as the context of a story. I was doing this when this happened, and I saw that, and I found a coin, and I got right this news, and I received this, and so on and so forth, right? So something was happening, and in the meantime, many other actions and events occurred, and that's why those are interrupters. The simple past, again, it's going to be more specific. Let's read the definition to be sure about it. And this is for you, please, Karen.
Use the simple past to talk about a finished, specific, and definite action. The focus of this tense is the conclusion of that activity. You can also use this tense to talk about interrupting events that are very punctual.
Good. Just this you, it's going to be a little bit more like us, so it's going to be like punctual. Let's repeat that word, please.
Punctual.
Punctual. Okay, good. Thank you. So again, right, it's a specific, it's definite. You don't use the simple past as context, all right? It's not possible because it's too definite. Instead, you can use the past continuous, but you use these for ideas that are very specific and very definite in the past. We also know the formula, all right? So again, we are not going to stop in those details. Unless you have any questions about the formula and the details, you're going to let me know. But here, mainly, what we need to do is practicing. In these courses, practicing is the main thing that we're going to be doing. So this is an example, as Karen mentioned at the beginning, right? I was studying for my exam when you called me. And as we go to practice in the future, right, you remember that rule. If when is at the beginning, sorry, if when, yes, it can be at the beginning, you use comma. If it's in the middle, you don't use any comma, right? So I was studying for my exam when, no comma, you called me. Or when you called me, comma, I was studying for my exam, right? It always depends on the position of the words, on the order that you are following. And again, the ongoing action, the past continuous plus the definite or the interrupter action, that it's going to be the simple past, right? Past continuous, ongoing, simple past, the interrupter. And here are some possibilities, right? Here you can mix when using these two possible orders and while using these two over here, right? Now, to work with these examples, we're going to try to do something different because I know that you know, right, this structure, but we need to try to add something else. So you're going to spend some extra time in doing some research to find extra verbs that perhaps you haven't used before. All right. So we're going to have first, this is the first task in this case. We're going to have 4, all right. Yes, let's have 4 to 5 minutes. And in that time, okay, only in that time, please, you're going to do some research. I want you to find verbs, but verbs that you haven't used before, or try to use synonyms at least. Okay, so instead of call, try to get some synonyms for call, for receive, for take, for get. All right, look for synonyms. So that's my idea. Look for very brand new verbs or look for synonyms of the verbs that you know. But the thing is that in this activity, as you know the basics, you can get something new or you can try to apply something new. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. If not, please let's have 4 minutes so that you can find new verbs or synonyms for the verbs that you use. Let's have a minimum of, all right, the minimum is going to be 10, but if you have more than 10, it's going to be better. All right, try to have 10 at least, and try to be thinking of the examples, because after that, you're going to write 1 example per option. It means 2 with when, with the 2 orders, and 2 with while, with the 2 orders. Okay, so that's the instruction. In the 4 minutes, you can work on the research, and if you finish before the 4 minutes, start working on the examples. If not, later on, I'm going to give you some extra time to finish. All right, let's start doing that, please, girls. I'm going to start with the 4 minutes. And let's see how much you're going to be able to cover. All right, so research and examples if you have the time, please. Okay, so we have 1 more minute. In case you finished with the 10 new words or 10 new verbs plus synonyms or only 10 new synonyms from the verbs that you use, start writing please the 4 examples. Remember, 2 examples with when, with the 2 orders, when in the middle and when at the beginning, and 2 examples with while, the same, with while in the middle and while at the beginning. Be careful when using the verbs because some of them can be used in continuous tenses. Some of them are not going to make sense, right? So be sure that your sentence is going to be understandable with the verbs that you're going to use. Okay, so that's the extra minute or the minute that we had. It means that we should have the 10 words. Okay, I'm going to turn on the camera just for a minute. It means that we should have the 10 new verbs or the 10 synonyms. Now, please, again, if you already started, continue working on the examples. If you haven't, please, let's start now. Again, now we're going to have 3 to 4 extra minutes so that you can write the 4 examples in total. Okay, so one more time, 2 examples with when in the 2 possible orders and 2 examples with while with the 2 possible orders. And here you have the tenses that you can use. Just be careful with the past continuous. Remember that not all the verbs can be used in the past continuous. Be sure that it's something that it makes sense that can happen for a long period of time. All right. And again, be sure that your sentences are going to make sense with those verbs, just in case, because sometimes, again, the verbs are not going to work in any context. So let's do it, please. 3 to 4 extra minutes, and we start reading your examples with the verbs that you are using now. Okay, be finishing, please. The last details we're going to check in a few seconds. All right, so the time's up. Let's take a look at your ideas. And again, let's see how those verbs are going to work within your ideas. Again, sometimes I know it's not easy. It depends on the verbs, it depends on the actions. Again, the context, as you were saying, girls, is going to define whether you're going to be able to use those verbs or not. And again, sometimes they make great sense, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to structure or connect the ideas because, again, it has to be a context that is very clear. If not, we need to readjust some things. But with what you got, I think we're going to be able to work. So let me start taking a look at your examples. All right. Now, I didn't share the exact page with you. I don't know if you started working on the second unit. It will be ideal that it's here. If not, please, we're going to paste all your examples over here. All right, because in this case, I didn't send you the link, but you know that this is always there for you. All right. So just in case, I'm sharing this one. It's in the chat. Please go there, write your names, and you can copy and paste the examples that you were working on. All right, so perhaps you're still copying that one. I'm going to do the following. I'm going to read the examples that you have now, and well, we're going to see how it works, and you're going to be finishing as I go to check your partner's examples. So let's do it, please. Perhaps you are rewriting one more time, but I'm going to start with you, please, Karen. Let's try to read your idea, and then we are going to finish the last example together.
Okay, teacher. I was sprinting on the street when a car crashed with a tree. When he fell up, he was gaping with her friend. He was run. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Rummaging his pockets while his mom called him.
Very good. So up to that part, let's check some details. Great, some interesting verbs. We're going to try to analyze this one because to fail, well, I actually write to fall, and here you say fill up. But what do you mean with these two words together? Perhaps we need a different phrasal verb. To fall, it's okay, but the particle perhaps is going to change. All right, perhaps you want to say when someone just falls, just to fall, or you can say fall down. All right, so you can use
maybe
fall down.
Yes, when someone falls. What is the meaning of fill up? Fill up, fill up.
Yes, I'm trying to think of the possibility of this one, but I don't know. I think I haven't used fall up in a phrasal verb. I should check Karen, but I think it's not actually a particle that I've used before. We can look for that. There must be a meaning for that one, but I'm not familiar with that one, Karen.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, I
teacher.
don't know in what case we have to use that one. Sprinting good, like running over here when a car crashed with a tree. Okay, it's an interesting one. Here, when he fell down, right, we're going to say that one over here. When he fell down, she was gapping. Here, it's only going to be like, okay, gapping with her friend. Okay, you're going to try to tell me a possible synonym for that one, but it's working good. And here is going to be like rummaging, but it's good. Rummaging his pockets while his mom called him. Now, what is a possible synonym for this word, a new verb that you have here, Karen?
For the first one is when you is like when you run.
Very good. The second one?
Is when you talk and talk. I don't know, is this synonym of talk or when you talk a lot?
I imagine that here, because of the context, all right, actually, because of the context is perhaps not going to be the best option, but to gap is when you are like gossiping with someone, right? To gossip is like, yes, when you're talking a lot about something in specific. All right, gapping. So you have like a conversation, but about specific details, or you are just having a very interesting conversation with your friend and you are telling each other a lot of details of what happened. All right, so if you have that emphasis on the details and you do it and you're talking about someone else, let's say, and for example, here, right, he fell, so I get the idea over there. He fell, right, and you were talking or gossiping about what happened there. Okay, so I think it's going to work in that way, to gap or to gossip about that one. And what about the last one, Karen?
It's like search something.
Good, good. And here you're using this one with pockets, and I think it works in an interesting way. Yes, because you can look for something in your pockets, and this one can apply this in this case. So far I think we're good. With you, we are just missing one sentence, Karen. As I'm going to check your partner's sentences, let's try to please finish the one sentence that it's missing you, and also let's try to copy and paste the 10 verbs that you have. Okay, it can be at the end. Good. Now I'm going with you, Nazarena. Let's read your examples, please, and then you're going to read the verbs or the synonyms that you have.
Okay, teacher, sorry, I couldn't find my Zoom. Okay. I was studying French in my room when the thunder fell. 2, when I saw the plane from my car. Victoria, my friend, was texting me. 3, they were playing with their cell phones while she crashed the car. While my family were eating, my brother spilled all the water in the glass.
Great. Now, let's take a look at these ideas. I think they are working great. You have some synonyms, perhaps, that are going to be words that we know, right? For example, it's good that you have this one, studying, learning, right? But perhaps it's not going to add like something very different to what we use, right? So again, this is interesting, but perhaps it's not that new, right? Because I'm sure that you used studying and learning before, okay? But again, it's good. But let's try to find some synonyms that are going to be ones that we haven't used before or that are different in a certain way. Okay, so again, it's good. You have a study. We're going to leave those there. But let's try to find some extra. We're going to have some extra time to find some, again, words that we haven't used before. Also, this is good text. And right, but we used right before and sent before. Then to see, right, you have look and watch, which is also good. But again, it's not like new. right? Play, having fun, recreating. This is good. These two words, I think we don't use these two words with a lot of frequency, right? So I think recreating and entertain are good examples. Okay, so this is also good, but these are two words that we don't use that often. Then here, eating, having dinner, breakfast, a snack, right? It's also good, but it's still not something that new. All right, so let's try to use, okay, some other words, if it's possible, or other words that are going to be like kind of new, all right, kind of different that we haven't used before. Because again, I think the sentences are working good. Just let's make that change, please, before I go back to you, Nazarena. I don't know if you have any questions before I can go with Lucia, and then we continue with you.
Oh, perfect, teacher. Thank you so much. I understand you. Okay.
Good. Great.
Thank
No, you're welcome. Let's do it, please, and we go back to you. Lucia, let's work with you now, please. Let's read your 4 ideas.
Okay. I was kneeling on the ground when I bent the flag. When I intended to explain new things, she was bending the important fact case. She understood her mistakes while she was enhancing her English grammar. While the snake was dragging his ship.
Okay, good, good. I think it's interesting. I think those are very interesting verbs that you got over there. And just we're going to do the following to work as an exercise, but good. Kneel, a physical action. To bend, also physical action. Intend to explain new things. Binding, the important facts case. All right. Enhancing, good, right? To better something. Dragging, that works great for a snake. And to screw something. So good. To me, it's working great. So please, let's do the following now to finish with you, Lucia, because I think it's working very good. Let's read the verbs that you have over here, and let's try to mention a synonym or a possible explanation. All right?
Okay.
It could be a more common synonym or an explanation so that we see that these verbs are clear. So what do you say? Let's start with all of them, please.
And this could be like orally?
Yes, please. Only speaking in this case, please.
All right. Okay, for example, for a screw, could be something that you can do for repair things, like yeah, when you have to repair and it's like pieces of a ship, and you have to use like the handle with another things. I don't know how to explain more about the screw.
Good. I think it works great. Just be careful because it's going to be similar to a word that can be sometimes right, bad word, let's say, but in the pronunciation it's only going to be like screw. Let's repeat that one, please. Like screw.
Screw. Oh,
Screw.
okay.
Exactly. What about the next one?
Drag is like more or less like the action that snakes or reptiles did.
Very good. And you can also drag objects, right? When they are too heavy, you can drag the object with you, right? For example, if a table is too heavy, you can drag it to a place, right? Because you want to move it. If you're not strong enough to lift that object, you can drag the object with you, right? So
Also,
good.
professor could be because I see creep.
Yes, but creep is not going to be used in the examples that I'm giving you, because to creep is more like an action that predators are going to do. And it's not exactly dragging. To creep actually is to approach something very slowly and without being detected. Okay, so it's not going to be exactly the same. Drag is directly you are in contact with the ground. Okay, you are like rubbing the ground like that, right? That's dragging. But creeping is like walking slowly without being detected. Sometimes predators do that. And when you drag the table, it's because the table is in contact with the ground, right? But it's not possible to replace that one with creep. Okay, so creep is more active, more related to predators, and drag is just because you don't have perhaps limbs to walk, so you have to drag to go to another place or to. All
Okay.
right, I don't know if it's clear in that
For
case.
creep could be which could be I don't know, maybe the translation or something like that.
Look, there's an interesting one. Again, I wouldn't want to do it, but you can say something like acechar sometimes. All right, when you use creep. But again, to creep is again to approach to something very slowly in silence without being detected. And sometimes, you know, when lions do that or when a predator does that, they are like in close to the ground because they don't want to be seen. Okay, so that's more or less creep. But drag, again, it's because you don't have limbs, you don't have anything to lift you, and that's why you are in contact with the ground. All right.
And also apply for people, right?
A creep?
Yeah.
Yes, right? Yes. You can creep out and you can creep right. And so it means that you're going to go behind someone to scare that person. So yes, it can be applied to people as well. Correct.
Makes sense.
Okay.
The other is bend. For example, we can bend a paper in origami.
Exactly. Correct. And also bend can be used for people, right? If you bend over, it means that you're going to write, you're going to incline your body because you want to lift something, right? So good. It can be used with objects and also with people because it's a very common action that people can do when they let something right down. If they want to pick it up, they have to bend over and they pick it up, right? So good.
Oh.
That's great. Bend. What about the next one?
Okay. Climb is like how can I explain when you have when you believe or trust in something and it's difficult for you, for example, to stop something or to like finish something. I don't know if it's correct.
Good. It's an interesting. Yes. In the because of the time now, we're not going to practice with those words, but let's have the ones that are not that clear for you, so that in the next class we can write some examples with those verbs. That's why we have 10, and we're going to be using the ones that are not that clear. Okay, but I think so far it's good. Let's go to the next one, please. Creep. We have creep. Let's go to the one next to creep or down below creep. Sorry.
Bind is correct the pronunciation?
Or that one actually, in this one, cling. The first one is going to be cling, and the next one is going to be bind.
Okay.
Teacher, sorry to interrupt us, but what's the meaning? What is exactly meaning of creep? Because I know a song with this name, but I don't know if this word has many meaning.
Yes, because creep can be a noun, right? That's from Radiohead, right? And Radiohead has that song, right? Creep. Creep can be something negative. If you are a creep, it means, again, it's very negative. It has a negative connotation because it means that you are weird in a very not desirable way. Okay, you can be a creep if you are too sexual, all right? You can be a creep if you do weird things, or at least weird things considered by society. Okay, if society consider that you are a creep, sometimes again, people who are like, again, related to sexual actions, related to actions that are not considered good by them, that's going to be a creep. Okay, a creep, someone that is not desirable in a certain way. Okay, depends, it's subjective. But creep is also a verb. And again, as I was saying, to creep is to approach something or someone in a slow way without being detected. Okay, so as you said, Karen, it has many meanings, That's why it can be used in the song that you're telling me, but it can be also used in actions for predators because it's something that they do in order to hunt their prey, okay, and to eat, because it can be a verb and it can be a noun as well. All right.
Okay, if we say ourselves, if we use creep to describe, I don't know, ourselves, we use like a noun, yeah?
Yes, you use it as a noun or even as an adjective would be
Uh,
a better way. Because if you say, right, I'm a creep, like in that song, it means that he's considering himself or herself like someone not desirable because of many negative things that people think, or he thinks that people think about him, and that's why he describes himself in that way.
wow,
Okay,
okay.
that's why they believe sometimes the song is a little bit depressing. I love Radiohead, by the way, but yes, that song is
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Good, great. Thank you for asking that one, Karen. Good. So let's work, please, with the last 3 words, Lucia, in a very short way.
Okay. Kneel is the action that you did with your legs when you bend your legs, maybe. And in haze is like improve something.
Very good. Great. So I'm done here with you. I think we're working great, Lucia. Again, if you have questions or doubts about these or some of these words, try to have them there and try to mark them, because we're going to try to use them in the next class so that we are sure that they are clear. Okay, now I'm going to go with your partners, but I don't know if you have any last question or comment, a very short one, because I can to finish with your partners. What do you say?
No, everything is fine. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, very good. So I'm going with you now, Karen. Let's take a look, please, at your last example. And again, try to explain, or instead of explaining, you can give me a short synonym for the words that you got. And again, if you have questions about one of them, you're going to try to save those ones so that we can practice with them later on because of the time. But let's do it, please. Let's read the last example plus a short explanation or a synonym for the words that you got.
I need to read my 4 examples. Oh,
Yes,
not
and only the last
okay.
example. Only the example that was missing. Example number 4.
Yeah, right. Well, while she turned on the lights, she was blending her keys.
Okay, very good. With while we can use past continuous, or we can also use the simple past, right? So I think it's working good. Great. Now let's go, please, to the verbs. And again, a short synonym or a very short explanation to be sure that they are clear for you, Karen.
Okay. I start with the number 1.
Yes, please. One by one, the word and a short synonym, or if it's
right.
not clear, a short explanation.
Okay. Sprint is like run. Gap is like when you talk and talk, as you say, gossiping.
Okay, sometimes can be like gossip.
Gossip.
Sometimes gossip.
Gossip.
Okay.
Roman. It is okay, the pronunciation, Roman.
In this case, it comes like ramen. Ramen.
Is when you search on something. It's possible to search someone else or only for objects.
I've heard this one mainly for objects, Karen. It's not a word, actually. I just heard once or twice about this word. And the 2 times perhaps that I heard it, it was only with objects. I would have to verify, Karen. So far, I believe it's only with objects, but I'm going to take a look at that. All right. I'm not sure if it's with people as well.
Okay, with glance is not like search, it's only when you look around, but not when you are searching something. I don't know how to explain, but it's something like search, but not deeper, maybe.
Good. I think that's very well explained. Good. What about the next one?
Assemble, it's is like when you make something, maybe, yes.
Good. In general, it can be more than making something. When you assemble something, it means that you get the pieces together, right? And of course, you're making something, but the idea is that you're connecting pieces and you're connecting parts, right?
Okay.
But also it can be producing or making, but it's sometimes too general. But good. What about the next one?
Soreness?
Soreness. Remember that the E
Soreness.
is not going to be pronounced. So soreness. Good.
Soreness, it's when you have pain. Yes, when you have pain. Weep it, right?
Good. Weep. Correct.
When you cry, yes, when you cry, we
Yes.
use with only with babies, or we can use with any person.
It's in general. Look, it's like the only difference I'm going to tell you, like this is like cry is like llorar, and like weep is like llanto. All right, but when you weep, you can also weep. It's not only for babies; it's for any person. It's more commonly used with babies. All right, but we can weep. It doesn't matter the age. So yes, you can use it with anybody over there.
Okay. Streak is
Strike.
a strike is when you hit or push someone or something.
Good. Punch, more like punch
Yeah,
or hit.
punch.
It's better if you say hit also when you hit someone. Good. Okay, good. What about the last two?
Purchase.
Purchase. It's better if you say purchase.
Purchase is something like when you buy something.
Good. Very good.
And tumble, I'm not sure, but I think that it's like when you fall. But I don't know if tumble applies to fall something, or to a people tumble, or only an object specific.
Okay, good. This one as well as number 3, I've heard more related to objects when you tumble something, okay, because you hit it and it tumbled. But I'm going to also look if this is used for people. Again, I've only heard to be used with objects, but it's also something that I'm going to verify. All right?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Good, very good. So again, I think we're good with you. You're going to have any questions, or the ones that we are not sure about, for example, number 3, number 10, because of that. And perhaps we're going to use also number 4 one more time, but we're going to be working on those on Wednesday. Okay, thank you very much, Karen. Good. And we're going to finish with you, please, Nazarena. I know we're using some extra time, but we finish with you. So first, let's read your examples, Nazarena, please.
Okay, teacher. Thank you. I was climbing a mountain very far away when the thunder fell. When I picked out the teddy for my brother, Victoria, my friend, was picking up all my sister's toys. They were discussing an important work issue while she crashed the car. While my family was putting up the Christmas tree, my brother spilled all the water in the glass.
Good, very interesting verbs. I think it's great. Now, I totally agree with all of them because they are interesting. They can be new, or at least they are great to be used. Just this observation, instead of the thunder fell, is better if you use this verb, okay? Struck. It's in past. All right? Struck. Just that one. I think everything else is working interestingly well. To pick out, to pick up, discuss, putting up these phrasal verbs. So also is valid that you have phrasal verbs. Spill, it's a very interesting why. So good. I think we're good with that. We can go now to the words, please. You have already the synonyms. So let's read everything that you have, please, Nazarena, there for the verbs.
Okay, climbing, scale, and clamber, fell, go down, and hew. I don't know if hew is good, but pick out, opt for this, then designate, picking up, lift, discussing, debate, argue, or dispute, putting up, rise, or set up, and spill, make, fall.
Great, thank you. This one, yes, if it's like the word, look, actually, it's the first time I'm taking a look at this word like a synonym of this one. It's interesting. Yes, if it's this word, as you're telling me, it's going to be like hue. This one, I don't know if it's going to be for. I think
Opt
it's missing
for.
R. For, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Good. I think besides that, everything is working very well. Spill, it's going to be like make fall, right? It's more related to water, to liquids, but it's an interesting verb, and I think it's a good option to describe it in this way. And also, I think that all the possibilities are very interesting here in Nazarena. I don't have any observations. I don't know if you have any questions before finishing Nazarena. They work very well in the examples, and we're going to be using some of those other possibilities on Wednesday. So any final questions on your side, Nazarena, let me know, please.
No, teacher, all is clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, no, thank you very much. So good, with you and with all of you, I think we got to work at least some of those words because they are really interesting. And again, as you know, many of those words are going to have many meanings. Gap, for example, is going to be a noun, it can be an adjective, and the meaning is going to be very different to the meaning that you're using here. All right, also gland, whip is also interesting. Strike also can be a noun, right? When you're on a strike, it means that you're protesting for something, right? So again, be sure that these words are going to have a lot of possible ways to be used, but we are working with verbs, and also verbs can have different meanings. So it depends on the context, as you say, okay? The context is going to define everything, and it's going to define if you're using the word correctly or not. But for now, I think it was a great way of practicing. Again, we use extra time, but I think it's worth using that time if we get to learn those details. And that's it on my side. Again, it's done. I'm sharing the survey as always, girls. Let's fill it out. And thanks in advance. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow in your conversations. Okay, take care.
Bye, teacher. Thank you. Have a good night, girls. And you, teacher, too.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye, teacher.
Good night. Bye bye, girls.